morning students. Today we are going to do the experiment capacitor, and the aim of this experiment is to study the charging and discharging of a capacitor and hence to determine the RC time constant. Now apparatus required. This is DC power supply 12 volt we have applied here. This is digital multimeter, stop clock, capacitor box. This is capacitor is here, two resistors are there. This is R1 and R2 resistors are there. Now theory. The basic circuit diagram for charging and discharging of a capacitor is shown here. Now in the circuit diagram, these are the two resistors. This is capacitor. Across the capacitor voltage this is applied here. This is battery eliminator power supply, and these are the connecting terminals. When we connect 1 and 2 terminals, this part this is the charging one, and 1 and 3 terminals, this part this is the discharging one. So if S1 is closed by connecting the terminals 1 and 2 and keeping S2 open, the battery charges the capacitor. Now current flows through the resistor R1 and until the capacitor goes to fully charged. Now if the charge on the capacitor at time t is qt and the voltage across the capacitor C is q by C, then the current flows through the resistor R1 is I equals to dq by dt. Now for finding the charge on the capacitor, we have to apply here the Kirchhoff's law. Now Kirchhoff's second rule states that the sum of all the voltages across all the elements will be 0. Now here in the charging part we are applying the Kirchhoff's second rule. So by applying the Kirchhoff's second rule here, we can write it like that: the potential difference across R1 plus the potential difference across C, and this becomes 0. That means we can write it like that: I R1 across R1 plus Q by C across the capacitor plus E, this one, equals to 0, or we can write it like that: I R1 plus Q by C equals to E, or R1 dq by dt plus q by c equals to E. So which is the solution? This part, q equals to Ce into 1 minus e to the power t by R1 into C, or Ce, this is the maximum charge, you can write this part equals to q naught into 1 minus e to the power t by R1 into C. So R1 into C, this part this is tau, so we can write q equals to q naught into 1 minus e to the power t divided by tau, where q naught equals to C, this is the maximum charge, and tau equals to R1 into C. Now this quantity tau equals to R1 into C, this is the charging time constant which characterizes the rate at which charge is deposited on the capacitor. Now at time t tends to infinity, then we can write this equation that q tends to also Ce, that means q equals to q naught. So this is the capacitor charges to its maximum value q naught after a certain interval of time which is equal to a few time constants. Now once the capacitor is fully charged, then the current I flows through the resistor R1 becomes 0, this part. Now discharging. So at this point, if we switch S1 is open by disconnecting the terminal 1 and 2 and close the terminal 1 and 3, that means S2 is closed, then the charge in the capacitor discharges through the resistor R2. Now here also we are applying the Kirchhoff's second rule. The Kirchhoff's second law is that the sum of all the voltages across all the elements will be 0. That means this and this element, after adding this part, this becomes 0. So here also we are applying this one. So the potential across this resistor R2, this is R2 into dq by dt, plus this part capacitor is voltage across the capacitor C is plus q by C, this part equals to 0. So R2 into dq by dt plus q by c equals to 0. So this part it has the solution q2 equals to q0 into e to the power t by R2 into c. So at time t equals to 0, so q equals to q0. So thus the charges on the capacitor decays exponentially with time. And if t equals to R2 into C, which is equal to the discharging of the capacitor, time constant, the charge drops from its initial value Q0 by a factor of 1 upon E. Now start the procedure how to perform the experiment and how to take the observations. Now at first you see in the capacitor, capacitor it is not allowed to current passing through this one. That means DC current it is not allowed in the capacitor, but it is getting charged. So how it is get charged? When the charges from the battery pushes the charges, that means charge means when the energy, that is EMF, and they are reaches up to the plates of the capacitor. Now when the charges reaches up to the plates, the charges have to travel, and when they travel, that means current flowing through the capacitor. So that means initially the capacitor it has no charge, this is equals to 0, but the battery is fully charged, which is equals to EMF E. Now at first when you switch on the power supply, so initially for a certain interval of time the current becomes very high in the capacitor, and at the same interval of time the current increases very less, and again at the same interval of time the current becomes very less, and when the potential of battery becomes equal to the potential, then the potential difference is 0. That is the voltage, when the voltages of both the capacitor and the battery are equal, then you can say the capacitor is fully charged. This is how a capacitor gets fully charged. That means initially the charge flows very fast, then it becomes slow, and it takes a very long time to get it fully charged, but initially it gets charged. And all this time is in milliseconds or microseconds. Now at the time of discharging the capacitor circuit, there is no cell in the circuit, but there are two plates in the capacitor, and if we put a conductor across it, then all the charges goes from positive to negative. But there makes a certain resistance in the circuit during the conductor, and because of this resistance there will be a infinite current flowing through the capacitor, and the full charge, which is Q0, goes on decreasing and till it finally becomes 0. Then this stage we can say that the capacitor gets fully discharged. Now let's take the electrical connections. The positive of the power supply we connected here, the positive terminal, and negative of this battery we connected here, the negative terminal. Now this is the digital multimeter. So in the digital multimeter you see common terminal, this is the negative one, and for finding the charge on the capacitor, first we are going to take the voltage of the capacitor. So we connect the positive terminal to the voltage part. Here you see voltage resistance is there, we connect this one here. So the positive terminal of this one we connect it to the capacitor positive, and negative terminal we connect it to the negative of the capacitor. Now in the circuit here you see these two terminals. When you connect 1 and 2 terminal, then this part, this is the charging one, and when you connect 1 and 3 terminal, this part, this is the through resistance, this is the discharging one. So we are going to take the charging one, so we connect 1 and 2 terminal here. So for taking the observations, you see we had supplied here 4 volt, and let's the power switch on. Now once we switch on, you see it started, so at the same time we have to start the stop clock also. That means after 30 seconds we have to note down the voltage of the capacitor. So here you see after 30 seconds how much voltage you had got here, that you have to jot it down in our observation table. So 30 seconds we got 0.874. So here you see, so here we had got 30 seconds charging time, this is 30 seconds, and we had got the voltage here 0.874. So this table, this is our charging capacitor. So after that you have to find the charge of this one. For finding the charge, Q equals to CV. So V we had got it here after 30 seconds, and C value this is supplied here below the box here, that register R1 value, register R2 value, and C value. So C value here this is 1000 microfarad. So we are going to multiply 1000 microfarad into this volt, so we find this charge value in microcoulomb. So like that way, next again 30 seconds, so next 30 seconds this is 60. So here also you have to note down the voltage and find the charge. Like that basis you take up to the maximum reaching point. So 4 volt we had applied here, so we take up to the 4 volt, the maximum charge of the capacitor. Now for discharging the cell part, this is not required, so we switch off this one and put circuit we are going to change here. So we connect this to terminal 1 and 3 terminal, and again after 30 seconds we have to note it down how much it is discharged. So 1.854 we had got here after 30 seconds. So 0 value we have to write it here, the maximum charge, maximum voltage and charge, and after 30 seconds we find it here 1.854. Again you have to find the charge value here, Q equals to CV. C, so this is already we know, this is supplied there 1000 microfarad, and voltage you had got it here, so you have to multiply and find the charge here in microcoulomb. This is the discharging part. Again next 30 seconds, that means 60 seconds, you have to note down the voltage and find the charge. Like that you goes up to the discharging part up to 0. Now you have to plot the graph time versus charge, time along x-axis and charge along y-axis. So this graph, this is for the variation of current through capacitor during charging. So here in the graph we understand that how initially when you switch on the power supply, within a millisecond, microsecond, that means after a certain interval of time, it goes to charge very fast. Then again the same interval of time it charge, means current flows very less. Then again at the same interval of time it very less, like that. That means if we draw it here, so we got it like that, means current flows very less, and after a certain interval of time we find that the current, this is charge, this is maximum, then it becomes steady. That means we find that here the capacity is up to this much, it charged fully here. So here after plotting the graph, our next aim is to find the time constant. So for finding the time constant, the formula is T equals to RC. So here in the capacitor box you see below the box that R1 value given there 147.2 kilo ohm, and R2 this is 220 kilo ohm, and C value also there. So for finding the time constant for charging, this is R1 register, that means this register. So we have to multiply R1 into C, we got the theoretical time constant, and after multiplying R2 into C, this is the theoretical time constant for discharging part, charging and discharging. Now after plotting the graph, our formula for charging this is Q equals to Q naught into 1 minus 1 upon E. So 1 upon E, this is the exponential value 2.37, we know this one, and Q naught, this is the maximum charge. So put the values here and find the charge value here, and that charge value you find on the graph somewhere. I think this is here. This is here. So this is the tau. You join this part along the x-axis. So this tau, this is directly the time constant for the charging one. Tau equals to R1 into C. So this tau value you compare with the theoretical time constant. This is R1 into C t seconds, theoretical one. Similarly, at the discharging graph also you put it like that. Time along x-axis, charge along y-axis. So this is the variation of current through the capacitor during discharging. So discharging here, you see this is the maximum point, then it goes to discharge, when you discharge first, within millisecond, microsecond is discharge first, then it becomes slow. After that it becomes steady here. So for finding the time constant in discharging, our formula for here, this is Q equals to Q naught into 1 upon E. E, this is the exponential 2.37. Q naught, this is the maximum charge. So put the values and find the charge value here. So that charge value you find here on the graph, somewhere here this is. So this is your tau. This is R2 into C. So this is directly the time constant for discharging part. So after doing calculation of this one, this time constant you compare with the theoretical discharging time constant, tau equals to R2 into C t seconds. Then we can find the percentage error. For finding the percentage error, our practical value minus theoretical value divided by practical value into 100. Like that way you have to find the percentage error for charging and also discharging part. So students, so far we have discussed today how the charging and discharging of a capacitor and how to find the RC time constant of a capacitor.